It's Bodega time. Yeah, what's going on, party people? The place to be. I go by the name of the BK Apologist, transmitting all the way live. New York is the city, Brooklyn is the borough. What's good? What's popping? Let's say what's up to the chat. But before we do that, it's Friday. Happy Bodega Day to everybody. We made it through another week. A lot of people can't say that, but we can. We need to praise God for that. So going to the party people in the chat, we got one of many on the check-in. We got Jonathan Green. Jonathan, I want you to know something. I'm working on the John Wick situation. You know what I'm talking about. So be prepared to see something like that in the near future. All right, Jonathan? Richly Redeemed. We got Adrian Jones. We got Revelator 007. And of course, as always, please share the link, like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend that it's him again. If you'd like to show your love, you can hit me on PayPal. If you'd like to show love on a monthly basis, you could become a patron where you will get all sorts of lovely pastries and delicacies that, your eyes will definitely be thankful for when it comes to, studying the Word of God in a much deeper level. And of course, I am being graced by the most illustrious panelists this side of the Mason-Dixon. And of course, we have representing the Bodega ladies, Dean. What's going on, Dean?
What's up, everyone? What's up to the panel? What's up to the live chat? Good to see everyone. Happy Bodega Day.
Yes. And next to her, we have Dr. Doom himself, apologist in Detroit. What's going on, sir?
What's going on, everybody? Good to see y'all.
Nice. And of course, we have the real American, Mr. Phil Fox. Can't hear you, Phil. You are muted.
I am muted. Rookie mistakes. Good to see y'all. Love y'all. Glad to be here. Praise God.
And next to him, a good friend and brother in Christ. You've seen him a few times on the platform. He goes by the name of Kyle Spears. What's going on, sir?
I am grateful to be here tonight, man. Thanks for having me and thinking of me, bro.
Of course. So actually, with you, Mr. Spears, we're going to start. Because before we get into our shenanigans, right, we always want to talk about the pandemic and how it's looking via everybody's perspective. So in your neck of the woods, Kyle, how is the pandemic, working out over there?
You mean here in the Midwest?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's been a very interesting reaction. I feel like in the Midwest, we have a different culture here. I've been here all my life, but I'm also very connected with the coasts. I'm in a flyover state and so forth. And so here in the heart of America, there's just a lot of tension between masks and not masks. We're right now, if you go into a store, you don't have to wear a mask. I don't know if that's where you guys are, but yeah, I mean, our numbers are going down, but there's a lot of resentment and seeing it in the churches. But I feel like we're pretty resilient. So it's been good. I don't know if it's that way for you guys in you guys' regions.
Cool. Thank you. Mr. Phil Fox, what's going on in Detroit, sir?
Let's see. As of yesterday, we had only 527 new cases statewide. So we're on an extreme downturn. Let's see. Unfortunately, it looks like we had 62 deaths, though. So, I mean, it's still here. I think we're still shooting for the July 1 target of, opening back up, back to normal, all those types of things. So,
Right.
Our governor has been one of the most conservative when it comes to this whole pandemic thing. And I think, unfortunately, just, and I guess I can't say unfortunately, because there's still a lot of folks that I see out that are wearing masks, but you're starting to see less. But it seems like the honor system is sort of working here in Michigan, or at least from where where I'm at locally, so I can't speak for the rest of the state. But where I'm at, it seems like the honor system is working. Those who already have the shot seem to be not masking and those types of things. So, but
Right.
it seems like most people are still wearing masks and honoring the 6 feet. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Next up, we have Bodega Lady alumni Dana Dane with fame in the building. What's going on, Dana?
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Good to see everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. So what's going on in your neck of the woods with this Rona?
Again, I don't know. And I'm gonna say what I say every time y'all ask. Just wear your mask. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to everybody else. Keep all your germs to you. Just keep them in. Keep them internal. Keep them internal. I don't care if you got vaccine, all that. Keep it in. Keep it in.
Wise words. Apologies in Detroit. What's going on with you, sir?
Dana, man, I see your name. My name is Dana, and I can't help but think of the floaters float on. Hi, my name is Dana, and I'm a Libra. I love everybody and everything. No, y'all know me. I kind of been over with COVID for about a year now. So out of respect, out of my great love for my brothers and sisters, I don't judge anybody. I don't, I will wear a mask. I will stand 6 feet. I will do anything to respect, to show love, to practice Romans 14, chapter 14, and not, be overly judgmental. But yeah, I've been kind of over COVID. My church has been meeting for like a year now, and yeah. So,
Wow.
Woo, it's free.
Dad.
There are no rules. No.
Freedom.
Oh, and I'm in the Midwest too, Kyle.
D-New, what it's looking like over there?
So I think everyone can echo what Chris just said. Like, we're pretty much over this, but where I am, the last time I was here on the Bodega, it's been a minute, but I was saying death toll numbers of about, I think, 70 in the 70s. As of today, we're at over 400. So
Wow.
Yeah.
For one day?
It's total since the whole pandemic started.
Oh, okay.
So we're doing relatively well compared to other places, most definitely. We are still in restrictions. So hopefully we can just all get through this and get to whatever our new normal is going to be. Hopefully we can get there soon. So I want to echo what you said as well, BK. I'm thankful and grateful to the Lord for just his protection and keeping all of us. So
Amen. And for the Gran Manzana, aka the Big Apple, our positivity rate has dropped to 0.42%. But unfortunately, we've had 15 fatalities. So yeah, it is definitely dropping super, super low. And yeah, people in New York, they're already acting as is. Listen, when and I told you guys this, when I baptized my friend last week, it was Thursday afternoon at around 2 p.m. Everybody was outside, fam. Like, because we was near the village, man, listen, the basketball courts were flooded, handball courts. Everybody was out there, man. It was crazy. So yeah, man. So people are definitely over it. Mm-hmm. And July 1st looks like it's going to be something serious. God willing, it looks like we actually might get a summer, which is amazing. So we got to be grateful for that. But with that being said, it's time to get into the shenanigans. All right. So first up, Naomi Osaka withdraws from French Open, will take some time away from tennis after controversy over media obligations. Naomi Osaka has withdrawn from the French Open, announcing Monday on social media that she will take some time away from the court, one day after she was fined and threatened with harsher sanctions for skipping her mandatory media obligations. Osaka, 23, also revealed that she has experienced depression and anxiety since winning her first major at 2018 US Open, and explained that speaking to the media often makes her nervous. She apologized to any media members speaker and get huge waves of anxiety before I speak to the world's media, she said. I get really nervous and find it stressful to always try and engage and give the media the best answers I can. So with
I think BK froze up on us.
Mhm.
all right, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. All
All
right.
right, cool. All right. Okay. So I definitely want to hear you guys comment about her really taking, account for her own mental wellness. But I also want to use this as a launching pad to talk about just Black Christians and mental health. As Black Christians, are we really dealing with our mental health in the most healthiest way possible? And actually, this is the reason why I have Spears here. And Kyle, if you could talk about what you do for a living for those who might not know, and if you could give us some of your insights about this particular situation.
Yeah. Hey, good to be with everyone. I'm a marriage and family therapist. I'm in private practice. I specialize in complex trauma and PTSD, and I use a modality named EMDR primarily. And I've been doing that since 2016. And when I went into private practice, I did it because, I'm a marriage and family therapist and they wanted folks who could do couples work. But when I came on, they were like, hey, you've got to understand how to treat trauma. I had no clue that, since that time I would be wanting to put sort of theology with that at a clinical and research level. And then now just kind of seeing what things have evolved into have been insane. And so now people are coming out left and right with mental health, whether it be corporate America, religious leaders, or obviously professional sports and so forth like that. So, and even last year, and I don't share this with a lot of people, but my uncle was the COO for the Minnesota Vikings, and then decided to take a job with the Big Ten. And I remember, what is he going to do? And he decided to be commissioner for the Big Ten, and he took a lot of heat this last year. What was interesting is that 2020, so early on, before the pandemic, I flew out to a Big Ten conference. He had me come out. I was the only person who didn't work for the Big Ten, but he wanted my sort of input as a mental health professional. And so I went there, and we had all of the 14 Big Ten schools there in the room, except for actually where I'm from, which is where I live, is in Nebraska. The one state I'm expecting to see the head of their anyway. But it was insane. It almost felt like a caseworker, because I used to work as an in-home intensive therapist. I used to work with CPS or DHS, and it almost felt like one of those types of meetings because of the clientele that is your student now. I mean, there's 10,000 student athletes in the Big Ten. It's a lot and so as you can just imagine, many of them are minorities. And so as a result, all the needs that come with being a minority now get pushed into the basketball court, the football field. And I was able to hear at a very intimate level what it was like to try to meet those needs, all the way from the head coach to the player who needs to take a break because of mental health, but can't. Because, I mean, let's just Ohio State, Michigan State, whoever, I mean, those lead guys, I mean, they can't have a bad day, those programs and so forth. Anyway, I'm rambling. I don't.
No, that's cool. I mean, what do you think of, Naomi and her, just actually, pulling out from the French tournament for mental health? Like, what do you think of that?
Well, again, there's so many ways I'd cut it. I mean, let's just list some of the other folks: Kevin Love, DeMar DeRozan, Andrew Luck, Ronda Rousey, Michael Phelps, Jerry West, Serena Williams, Dak Prescott, Paul George, and then Naomi. And they've all expressed issues with anxiety or depression. And really, anxiety and depression are the same thing at different speeds, all right? And so as an athlete, one of the things that you see the body, but you don't see the mind. And so I think for Naomi, she was very brave in being specific in what her issue was, because that just makes her more vulnerable, right? But when you're transparent, that is really used against you. And then you got And I hate to say it, you got the former haters on the sideline. You know, you think of Charles Barkley and Skip Bayless, these dudes who attack transparency and authenticity and vulnerability in these athletes. And so, but I feel like there's more and more people talking about it. And so now I think to some extent, you know, you can't put the music back in the box. Like, people have been hurt around this. So I think you're going to hear about it more and more.
Right. And with that, like, does the Black Christian have a very specific challenge when it comes to mental health? And if so, how?
You talking to me on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Just make sure. I didn't know if we open it up.
No, I want everybody else to talk, but you know, you are the expert here. So
I would love to. Well, I wouldn't say expert. Let me make sure I understand the question again. Does the Black Christian have
a very unique challenge when it comes to mental health / trauma?
There's no question. So part of what trauma is about overwhelming experiences, but it's also about the lack at a profound level. And in a spiritual sense, trauma is a lack of Sabbath on the inside of a person. You can observe Sabbath, but you don't have the experience of it. And so, anyway, in terms of the Black Christian, I think that the intergenerational transmission of wounds, of lack of identity, that's all compiled into just walking around throughout the world as a Black or brown person. And as a Christian who's a Black person, Black culture would overly spiritualize it anyway. So you don't have an outlet. So it's already over spiritualized, or because you just got to pray it away. And the rugged individualism that you see in our country, you know, going back to, I think, Hoover, it's wearing thin for a lot of people, and it shows up in the Black culture. I think that's part of it, but you're starting to see that fade. Again, you have significant leaders in the Black community who are opening up about their mental health issues. I think as far as being a Christian, a Black Christian, I think it's I still think there's a stigma on it. You still have to be careful about saying disorder. You can't say disorder. Like, as a Black mental health professional, you have to language the dysfunction differently than you would have to for a white person, and I have that in my practice.
Wow. Anyone else in the panel would like to chime in?
I was expecting Dinu to, but since she didn't, I guess I'll jump in. Yeah, I live. Those of you who are close to me know that I live with mental illness as a part of my life, and it's hard to quantify at times. You know, sometimes you're talking to your friends, and it's like you can't even begin to explain how pervasive it is in parts of your life that you would just never expect. You know, so this is a topic that's very close to my heart because of how much it impacts my own personal life. You know, beyond that, you know, that actually was a catalyst to get me into kind of becoming a lay person who's gotten into understanding, you know, psychology and psychiatry a little bit. You know, understanding different disorders and some of the symptoms, and being able to kind of identify when a person might, you know, be struggling with, you know, some variety of anxiety, you know, obsessive compulsive disorder, you know, so you know, and then as you know, in the sociology side, you know, just understanding, like, man, we just live at this unprecedented time where we're inundated with information. Like, I don't think there's ever been a time where the human mind has been worked as much as it is today. Even with mundane things like social media, you're just inundated with information upon information upon information, and your mind is constantly being worked in a way that I'd argue that I don't think it was designed to be. You know, I do think that you know, when the Bible talks about, you know, Sabbath rest, that was this practical thing. That was this, hey, don't overwork yourself. And while their world was more physically, don't overwork yourself, I think the same thing is true with our minds, particularly if the rise of our awareness of mental illness within this American society is any allusion to that. So yeah, this is I find it very encouraging now when people are open about their struggles with mental illness, because it's normalizing it, you know. And I think that's healthy. That'll make it to where more people will take it more seriously. They'll be more open about going out and getting help, and then the rest of us who might not struggle from it will become more aware of it, and we'll be as a society, we might be able to make some improvements, because you know, mental illness is not something that you ever suffer alone. You know, if you're a human being, you're in some sort of relationship, whether it's with your siblings, with your parents, with a spouse, whether with the church community, or where you at work. You're always a part of these social communities, and these social communities are impacted. Sometimes they might not even know. Sometimes you might not even know. You might not be diagnosed. You might not even know that you have this struggle, this thing that's going on in your life, and you're displaying these symptoms of it. And these symptoms are impacting everybody that's around you in these different, relational environments that you're a part of. So yeah, this is, again, very, very close to me, very dear to my heart as a topic. And I'm happy that she felt that her own health and life was enough for her to do what's in her best interest. I'm sure she's losing a ton of money, by taking a break from her profession, and her profession being one that pays as much as it does. But to recognize that there's no amount of money that's worth having a sound mind, worth having some peace. There's nothing worth that. So to me, yeah, I'm extremely encouraged by it. I'm sorry that she's struggling with that. Pray for it. I can imagine what that's like. I have tons of empathy for that. And yeah, this is a great topic that I hope that we continue to broach and talk about more and normalize, so that people think of this the same way they think of a broken ankle. It's like, hey, people get broken in a diversity of ways, and this shouldn't be looked at as some deficiency. This should be rightly recognized as a legitimate handicap, and we should all, particularly as Christians, be compassionate and loving our neighbor as ourselves, and trying to make accommodations for those types of things.
Hey, you spitting, bro. You are spitting. So, yeah.
I think as well, in addition to what these gentlemen said, just looking at it from the athletic side of it, definitely it showed fortitude on her part to be able to stand up for herself. But also, too, I was thinking that it's kind of a shame, for people who devote their lives to their craft, the amount of training and discipline for years and years that they have to exercise for the love of the sport, to have to deal with this side of it, right? The part of it that's outside of their love of the sport, have to deal with having to go beyond your social anxiety, not for yourself, but for other people and their expectations. I just think that it kind of puts, if you go into sports, some individuals like that side of it, but for those who don't, to have to do something that is so anti their true self, it has to be very difficult. So I'm glad that she had the, like I said, the fortitude to think of herself and to stick up for herself, despite, what everyone was saying and all of the chatter of the world.
Cool.
Yeah. One thing too I wanted to add is, sort of taking off from Dinu's point, the athletic side of it, in sports, the emphasis is always on toughness, right? And it's funny because there's always a disconnect, because anyone who's been involved in sports, whether it's beginning peewee sports but everyone's heard the coach say that this game is 90% mental and 10% physical. That's sort of the coaching mantra, if you will. But situations like these, where a literal mental break and taking that time is not emphasized within sports. It's always, yes, you have to have mental toughness. You have to have, so the emphasis is always on the quote toughness. And I'm from the old school generation. I was raised by my grandma. So, men didn't cry and we don't show emotion. And, if there was something in our brain, we just had to turn it off. And but I'm learning now the importance of these things, and I've had to learn, just like Detroit was saying, there's people who are close to me who dealt with mental health issues, who and unfortunately there was some things that happened where it was just medication was just thrown at it instead of actually doing the work. And so these types of things are just as important as the work that you put in as an athlete or just as an individual, right? Because yourself and your mind are your biggest asset. And so, yeah, you might make an extra $2 million in the next 2 years, but if you're in mental crisis, you can miss out on so much work down the road if you don't take care of it now. So, I mean, it's the same thing with the body as it is with the mind. So these types of things are important to highlight because there is this, and yes, I have to admit, I mean, I was for a long time one of those guys like, this next generation, they're just a bunch of sissies and, talking about their feelings but I had to get over those things and educate myself and realize that, like, look, that's not a healthy view of things. Like, yes, there needs to be mental toughness, but there's a correct approach. So just like you can't go out and just simply start bench pressing 500 pounds. It's just not going to happen. You're going to injure yourself. There's a proper way and technique and way to condition yourself as well as your mind. So I appreciate this segment.
Cool.
I also wanted to say, Eva, I just thought of this because we've done shows here on the Bodega of also discussing, the examples that older females are to younger females. And I think that this is such a great example, amidst all of the negative things that we see in the media. I think this is just a great example to young girls of, sticking up for yourself and not being allowed to be used, if you will, and just, letting young girls know that you matter as well. Speak up for yourself. So
cool.
Well, I was gonna quick. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna go throw it to you. So go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, for me, it's difficult because even though I'm on the mental health side, I was on the athletic side. So obviously you can't see over the screen, but I'm actually 6'10", and so as a result, I mean, I hooped and everything, and had a lot of trauma basketball and trauma are like one and the same for me. But I just remember like going through a really horrible time in college, and I'm grateful to my coach. He's like, yeah, let me have you go, talk to someone. Or I had a sports psychologist that I saw. I mean, it was a really horrible time. And but sports psychology, this doesn't sound so bad, man. Sports psychology has real deficits because you're dealing with trauma. And what they want to do is they want to get you to perform. So that's a whole nother issue with all this, is when you're trying to get people from point A to point B to point C, point B really matters, like big time. And so I should have gone and seen somebody who specialized in trauma, not the sports psychologist. That's what I really need. Anyway, and then I tried to go overseas and play, but my knee gave out on me. And it was just like, man, I wanted to play professionally. So, and not everyone, again, gets to that level. Like, you have to be good enough, but healthy. I mean, and then if you lose your health, man, these dudes are turned inside out. The pressure, the difference in which first round versus second round versus third round. I mean, it's nuts. And it starts out that way. And it starts younger. I was watching a documentary on LeBron. And they were sitting up there like, is it good for this dude to have all of this when he's this young? And it's like, he's been a celebrity forever. People don't even realize how that dude's built. Like, they look at his body. Actually, mentally, that dude, I mean, one extreme is compartmentalization. The other extreme is just he's a freak inside and out. Anyway, not everybody's built for this. And I just played in college, hooped in college or whatever. But not everyone's built for it. It'll snap you in half.
When you were talking about playing in college, all I could think of, and I shouldn't be smiling while I'm saying this, but all I could think of was Bobby Knight, the story about him putting an athlete in the closet because he was upset with him. and just like, man, the stuff that guys went through back in the 90s, the 90s and before, the stuff that guys went through back then, that's insane.
Wow. Cool, man. Cool. So you guys definitely dropped a lot of knowledge on this topic. Kyle, thank you for bringing in your expertise. You're more than welcome to stay, but if you got to go, we understand.
I gotta go.
So, cool,
But
man.
I would look forward to coming back. Maybe I'll be able to come back next week. I would love to join the whole show. So next time I come back, I'll come back for the whole show.
Well, you'll be here this Monday, though, right?
Monday, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're there. I'm there.
If you're ever in Michigan, I still play basketball with an old.
We can hoop.
Our oldest guy is 60 and still runs full court.
All right.
I'm there.
Bro. Appreciate it, man.
All right, guys.
Cool. So with that, let's get to the next topic. Walmart apologizes for emails sent out to customers that included the N-word. Yeah, buddy. Walmart recently came under fire when people started receiving emails from the retail chain's official website that reportedly read, "Welcome to Walmart, nigga." CNN reports that on Monday, the company apologized to people who received the email, saying that someone from outside the company created a fake account and sent the racist message from the site, which prompted an auto-generated email from Walmart that went out to customers. Thoughts?
I don't know what to say. These hackers be crazy.
But I'm like, do you buy the explanation, the reason?
Go ahead, Detroit. Sounds like you had
You go ahead.
It sounds like you actually had a thought. I don't know what to say. I mean, there's all with these companies, and as big as Walmart is, and who knows what the truth is anymore with these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, and I hate to be that way, but there's always these little mishaps and these things that happen, and it just turns into a PR thing so that way they can get out of whatever trouble they could possibly get into. So I don't know. I mean, it's just the fact that these types of things happen. I just don't see how people can't say there's just not an issue with racism in this country. It's these little blips that are telling to the climate of what we're living in today. So that's basically all I can say, I guess.
I guess I would say it's
crazy. Go ahead.
Go ahead. It's highly unlikely that was intentional. So it certainly makes sense that this was some sort of an accident. Whether or not it was an accident where someone internally was upset with the company and sent something like that out, or it actually went down like they said it. What makes it so believable is the fact that they're such a dehumanizing company to begin with. They're a company that's known for overworking its employees, underpaying its employees, not hiring people full time, just hired a bunch of part-timers so that they don't have to pay benefits, while the owners of the company are like on some of the richest people in the world on the billionaire list.
Right.
So as a person as a Christian who is about social justice, Walmart is a company that I have very low regard for, just generally speaking, because they have a lot of practices that are anti-human flourishing, that are sin, that are wrong, that are evil. And while our society might think that they're savvy business people for practicing the way that they practice, I think that they're evil. They're an evil company that wields its power in a ungodly way and exploits and oppresses people. Okay, so yeah. That makes it hard for me to be unbiased because to me it's like, I don't know, part of me feels like, I don't feel all that bad that this happened. I would feel bad if this happened to a company that I felt like was an honest company that treated its employees fairly, because whether it was intentional or whether it was unintentional, like someone internal or external going down like they said, that there's going to be liability and fallout from it.
Right.
I struggle to have compassion for Walmart because I see them as a problematic company and emblematic of what's broken in America. So.
All I know
Bodega
is that
Flower. I want to just welcome her into the panel. Thank you for being here. So, Delicate, if you received an email from Walmart saying, "Welcome to Walmart, Negro," how would you feel about that?
Excuse me. um, Considering what I do, it's not necessarily far-fetched that somebody did hack in and actually send that out, as opposed to, some executive actually doing this, or someone actually, doing this. Now, there is the case of the disgruntled employee that's just like, I don't like what y'all got going on, so I'm gonna do this and embarrass y'all down to the email streets. But personally, if I got it, I would be taken aback. But I don't think my natural reaction would be, oh, Walmart meant to send this out. I probably would lean to, this was either some hacked job or some disgruntled employee that would send this out. All along with what Chris said regarding their practices and the treatment of their employees, their type of mistreatment is very covert in a sense. So I don't necessarily see them being this overt as a company to send something like this out. So I'm more than likely to believe that it was some disgruntled employee or a hack job. And being that cybersecurity issues have been plaguing so many companies, we had the gas pipeline issue that was hacked. I don't know if you guys follow cybersecurity issues, but there was a major cybersecurity breach of a cybersecurity software called SolarWinds recently. That was really, really a big deal. So hacking is something that is constantly going on in this digital world. I don't know if you have an iPhone, you would get indications if your email has been found on certain compromised lists. So those types of things do happen. So I would not be surprised if either of those were the case.
Cool.
We actually have a song for Walmart. A native song.
A native song? Wow.
Oh, yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah, Revelator made a good point about those systems usually checking for certain things like that. But then again, it all depends on if it was hacked. It all depends on the sophistication of the hack, depending on how sophisticated the hackers were, what they were able to hack into, what part of the servers they had access to, or databases they had access to. And then if it was an insider job, the insider person literally could have ways to bypass a lot of these systems. But in terms of cybersecurity hacking, it all depends on the sophistication of the hackers. And no digital system or no digital network is oblivious or completely mitigated from this type of access to it. And if a lot of people may not invest very well into their data systems. I don't know if you like the Experian hack. Again, I talked about SolarWinds. You have Target that gets hacked. Like, a lot of companies get hacked. That's how your card information gets hacked. And all of a sudden, $5,000 is missing off your account, $300 is missing off your account. And you're like, what are you talking about? I live in Washington. I'm not in Hawaii, but someone was able to get your information. So, these type of ransomware hacking systems are very sophisticated. All it takes is one email for an employee to click on it, and boom, they can have access to your network. But again, if it's an insider job, then that person actually can find its way around all of the different firewalls and different types of systems that they have in place to mitigate against these things. So it's possible.
Yeah. I know my company was somebody phished my boss's his account, or I'm not sure if it was his account, or somehow they were watching his emails, and so they actually were looking to have the email look legit. Even our IT person was extremely surprised, and it took him, and thank goodness he picked up the phone, because it wasn't off, like totally off, and it just sort of shows the sophistication of it and how close that they, because these guys, I mean, a lot of these guys play the long game, right? They'll sit and watch, and they'll look at trends and a lot of this stuff. And so, and they sent an email to my boss that looked like one of our partners requesting a transfer for, I think it was like $150,000 or something like that. And my boss, he authorized it to be sent, but thank goodness he picked up the phone and was like, "Hey, your money's coming." And they're like, "I didn't make any requests." So they stopped it internally, and thank goodness. But I mean, yeah, I mean, these things are crazy complicated, and they play the long game, and all just because of, one simple click of an email and all this stuff. So we have to remain vigilant, and you have to be careful, especially now, because I mean, we're in this age of, like, we click on everything, right? Or everything is so touch sensitive, and you're scrolling and you don't even realize, and you might click on something. So you just gotta be a little more aware as you're scrolling and clicking.
Absolutely. So in the bodega, we like to be fair and balanced here. So we see people utilizing franchises to go at Black people. Well, some people utilize franchises to go at white people. Popeyes in St. Louis is refusing to sell to white people? Missouri's Popeye under investigation for drive-through sign that said, "We reserve the right to refuse service to white people." Lake St. Louis police reported that the sign was placed unknowingly to the business, and that it could be related to vandalism at the same Popeyes earlier this month, when several drive-through menu signs were spray painted. So, so that's the actual message. And here's the actual sign. Effective 6/1/21, this restaurant is under new management and will reserve the right to refuse service to white people. We apologize for any inconvenience. Signed, General Manager Mason. So, thoughts?
Man, I know some folks who shared this post.
I know who you talking about.
I ain't trying to get messy.
Oh boy.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
He don't think. That's all I'm gonna say.
You know what your mama used to say? Two wrongs don't make a right. If it was wrong to segregate on the right hand, it's wrong on the left. You can't use that. This is the thing that really blows me about, like, some conscious people. If slavery was wrong and brutal when they did it to Black people, like you asserting the same thing, fam, it's still wrong. It doesn't matter who's in power. If it a wrong is a wrong. Right. So two wrongs don't really make a right.
But that's the whole point.
Yeah, it doesn't make up.
That's the whole point to the conscious community. What you said is exactly right. It's not that they're against oppression; they're against who gets to do the oppressing.
Right.
So slavery is not bad; it's who gets to enslave. That's the issue they have. So 100%, Dana, 100%.
Yeah, and I say virtually the same thing that Dana's saying. How I say it is we don't trade an injustice for an injustice.
Right.
And I've had conversations with a lot of Native folks as well who feel the exact same way. And so there is a degree of where we have to educate our brothers and sisters about that, and rightfully, not rightfully so, but I mean, it's logical that there is this hurt, right? It's logical that because there's this historical trauma within our people groups, and so that's passed down generation to generation, and then all of a sudden you get some pissed off kids who don't know why they're pissed, and they have an inkling and someone will put it in their ear, some elder or some, and that's how we get these Hebrew Israelites and all these people and all these false doctrines, unfortunately. But that it's an absolute shame that we have to do that educating and show them, like, look, it doesn't matter who is doing the oppression. Oppression is oppression, no matter who it is doing it. And the way I explained it to a few of my friends is like, look, you're talking about causing another generational trauma situation, because now you're talking about generations being oppressed, and now they're going to have to heal. And so it's just going to repeat that cycle. So, what's the point? And unfortunately, some folks will listen and some won't. So it's important for us, again, to stay vigilant. We need to continue to just educate as Christians, and we have the hard task, unfortunately. But I think it's a blessed task to educate those that are around us and those that are in our atmosphere, because it is a work that God has given to all of us, not just those who are on the panel, not just those who are ministers or missionaries or whatever. You don't have to have title to do this stuff. So yeah, I'm talking to you, Bodega family out there in the chat. That's your job as well as ours. So I've talked long enough.
You muted, didn't you?
You muted, D.
I think the sad thing with seeing a post like that is that you're going to have a number of people who would be in full support of that, right? Just echoing what you guys said. And that's the sad part. And so what Phil just said is perfect. Like, this needs to be something that is declared on the rooftop, that if it's wrong here, then it's wrong there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is what makes Christianity stand out as chief of all worldviews, right? Because Christianity, it affirms dignity in us all, and that dignity is not intrinsic to our ethnicity or the color of our skin, but it is intrinsic to how, the very fact that we were created in the image and the likeness of Yahweh. And to support this is an absolute slap in the face of the faith that we proclaim. Here's the thing: Galatians 3 has been, abused on every side, where you have those that say, hey, there's neither Jew nor Gentile, there's neither male nor female, slave nor free in Christ, right? So you have, for such a long time, that being interpreted to forget about all of these adjectives that you bring to the table, as if they automatically become erased in Christ, and not the true understanding of that text of what Paul was saying. And that is that none of these things give you any leg up or standing, higher standing before God. And that none of these things, when we're in Christ, should separate us from each other, but we can be fully Black, fully woman, fully, wherever we are, we can be all those things and glorify God in unity, and be a part of the family of God in unity. And I think that, if anybody that's propping this up from the perspective of whether it's, yes, I agree with this, or look at that, see, that's what we've been telling you about this social justice stuff. If as a believer, that is your response to this message, shame on you. As a believer, your response should loudly be, this is in no way indicative of the God we serve or the faith that we defend and the faith that we hold on to. And here's the truth. This shouldn't be a time for pointing fingers. This shouldn't be a time for affirming this type of language, we should definitely shoot this down and call it what it is, evil and wrong, and then present what the truth is. But this whole pointing fingers and sharing this as some type of, yep, see, I told y'all those woke people, that's not the time for this, fam. This is the time for us to declare loudly what the Bible says, what Christianity says, and that is that this ethnicity stuff profits us nothing. But just because it profits us nothing doesn't mean it's automatically erased either. And so we should treat people with the dignity that they have been created with. So, yeah.
That was fire.
Amen. And I kind of intentionally waited to let everybody else speak because I wanted this to be a point that was well established. Me and Phil talking about the same, Twitter, anti-social justice, people who be on there bumping their gums and always, making conflations. And that's exactly what they did, what Shani just said. They posted a picture of it. It's like, oh, see, this is what these woke people do. And, so to me, it's like, hey, we're the woke Christians and not a single one of us affirmed this as justice, as righteousness. All of us condemned it independently without discussing this ahead of time. You know why? Because we all embrace the truth of Scripture. And we know that partiality is a sin. Prejudice is a sin. Racism is a sin. To treat a person differently solely on the basis of the color of their skin is a sin. And so I did want to take this opportunity to make a public statement so that those people, because they often seem to be creeping in the comments, or they like a mascot. They are always out there rooting for you or against you, one of the two. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to point this out. Listen to us when we talk. What we're saying is that the Bible is right. Sin is racism is sin. This is an act of racism. I don't know if this person, General Manager Mason, claims to be a Christian or not, but all of us claim to be Christians, and we all condemn it because it's evil.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing. So I think in an attempt to, in our own strength, we'll settle for substitutes of victory. You not serving white people chicken, you think that's a leg up, like that's a step forward. When in honesty, you didn't move anywhere because they can just go to a different Popeyes that serves white people. So in an attempt to gain power or regain power or hold on to some semblance of what you think power is, you've done the very harm and hurt that you feel. I think you forgot, like your memory is very short. The same harm and hurt that you feel, the same pain that has been inflicted on you, you are doing to someone else. That's not righting a wrong. That's I've been stabbed, so let me stab you. That's not victory. That's not any of those things that you are trying to gain. Like if you just pause for a second and really thought about it, you didn't get what you wanted from that situation. You didn't gain the very thing that you are aspiring to. You didn't gain it. Instead, you look like the very monster that you condemn. The same individuals you snub your nose down at, you have become them in essence. And so that's me just saying the same thing I initially said, but in a different way. We have to stop desiring semblances of victory and false power. That's not power. Because again, you look like the very ugliness that you are denouncing. So I'm saying and I'm talking to Christians too, really be humble and really, again, and you know me, I'm gonna go back to, is that loving your neighbor well? Is that what loving your neighbor well looks like? Putting a sign that said, nah, you can't eat here. It was good. It was cool when they did that to your grandma and them. That was okay when they couldn't sit at the Woolworth counter back then. Oh, okay. I'm just making sure. I'm just trying to check, make it make sense to me. Okay. And I'm talking to Christians too. I'm talking to us too, because I very much agree with Shawnee. If you were like, nah, look at them, fam, like you're so far removed from the pulse of what's going on. And as Christians, if you ain't figured out what part of being woke is, you are very aware of what the pulse is going on. Paul didn't say, don't be so segregated from the world that you don't have a clue of what's going on. That's never that's never what we are to ascribe to. We're supposed to be in it, just not of it. Guess what? Making a sign that says white people can't eat chicken here, that's doing what the world does. Jackie today was saying Christians, we are called to a higher standard of love. So you saying nah and look at the woke people, you're just as ugly as they are. And I said it. And you can come at me and you can come slide into my comments. Because trust me, it's a conversation that I would love to have.
Well, I
don't care about your feelings. All right. Good stuff, guys. So let's get to the next thing here. Jay-Z says he learned to swim after Blue Ivy was born. Jay-Z says he learned to swim after the birth of daughter Blue Ivy while making a recent appearance on HBO's The Shop Uninterrupted. His reasoning, that it allows for him to be a better protector. Think back to those pool diving and jet ski memes. I didn't learn how to swim until Blue was born, he said about being a father. There goes everything you need to know. This is a metaphor of our relationship. If she ever fell in the water and I couldn't get her, I couldn't even fathom that thought. I got to learn how to swim. That's it. That was the beginning of our relationship. So to my panel, how has being a Christian protected you in your life?
Wow. Y'all know I got I admire Jay-Z, even though he's not a Christian. I think that he's a thoughtful guy. I pray that he finds Christ finds him, however that works. And because I just, as much as there is to loathe about him as any other person, there's a lot to admire about the guy as well. With his character and his fortitude, and just a lot to admire about him. Anyway, that said, so what was the question? What about me? What was the question? Could you repeat the question?
How has being a Christian protected you in your life?
Man, I can't even count the ways. Like I grew up in seriously, I grew up in the crack era. I grew up in the era where everybody was that was my age was trying to make money, quick money. And there was always dudes in the neighborhood that, wanted to help you make that money. And so, by the grace of God, I became a Christian at a very young age. I started going to church. I've told the story multiple times. The lady next door, I vividly remember her talking across from her porch to my mom's porch and saying, like, you need to have them kids in church. And my mom saying, all right, you can take them to church with you. And this lady was a church mother and Church of God in Christ. And from that Sunday, we started going to church. We started going to church every Sunday. We started going to vacation Bible schools. And I've been in church for the most part, give or take a couple breaks here and there since I was maybe 6 years old, and that, ethical system of church was preached to me. And so, I avoided a lot of pitfalls. I mean, I know way too many people who are no longer alive, who I went to high school with, and they're no longer alive, and I'm only 45. I'm not that old, so I certainly shouldn't know the number of people that I know that are no longer on this earth for a variety of reasons. So I think, God protected me, from me, in the sense of, I never fell into that trap of the drug game and chasing quick money. I never fell into the trap of women. That's another thing church kept me from, being, wilding out and just sleeping around and partying and doing, church saved me. God saved me from a lot of stuff from, just being in church from a very young age, by the grace of God, it taking root and being a very serious thing for me from a very young age. And those are just easy ones. If I sit here and think long enough, I'll probably think of some really good ones, but those are real easy ones for me.
Cool.
I echo what Chris just said. As he was talking, I was just doing a little assessment of my life, and God has protected me to the utmost. There's two things that I thought of. Certainly, just with the pandemic, being that since the pandemic hit us, when was that? Like last year, March, till now, I have literally been around people with COVID. Some of them I didn't know. I did not know. My employer called me after the fact to let me know that I was in contact, and I had not had, the best PPE that I should have had. And just the fact that I have been healthy this whole time, no one has to tell me anything. I know that God is keeping me. And then the other thing I thought of was I had an encounter with this gentleman was it yesterday? I messaged the Bodega ladies about it, but I had this encounter with this guy who's just a couple years younger than me. And he was his life is unbelievably, let me say it this way, unbelievably disordered due to probably the decisions that he's made, and then things that have happened to him. I'll just say it that way. And when I just think of how God has kept me my whole life, how he's kept me from trauma, he's kept me from doing things, he's kept me from engaging with people that I shouldn't have. God has kept me when I drop, you know what I'm saying? Like, God has just kept me. And not everyone has that story. And I think it's beneficial. I'm glad that you brought this up, BK, because it's just beneficial for us to, what's that old song say to roll back the curtains of memory now and then. I just aged myself. Forget that. Okay, just strike that. But I'm just saying that it's beneficial to, just do a survey sometimes and see how good God has been to us. And that doesn't mean that, if bad things happen to us, that he's not good. I feel like, and I see this all the time in my job, things can always be worse. Trust me. We think that our life is bad. Things can always be worse. And so we just have to thank God for what he does for us. Things that we know about and things that we don't know about.
Excellent.
Oh, I got another real quick one. I just thought of when I was about 17 years old. I was walking home from school. It's wintertime. I had got a triple fat goose with the fur on the hood, white socks. It was sweet, silver and black. It was so hot, and some Nike Cortez. Y'all remember the Nike Cortez from the 90s? Those were hot too. Yeah. And so walking home, and some guy just jumped out from behind a tree with a gun and robbed us and took all our stuff, took my shoes, took my coat. And then told us to run, and fired the gun, and the bullet grazed the back of my leg, grazed the back of my left knee. And I didn't even realize until I got home. And when I got home, I finally started to feel this like itching, stinging kind of feel in my leg. And then to find out like, oh God, that I had kind of, gotten shot. And it didn't go, it went straight through. Like it was at an angle where it just went straight through, kind of clean. I went to the ER, and it didn't turn out to be much. It didn't stop me from walking. I went to school like the next day. But there's another story. I'm saying I got a lot of stories of just crazy stuff that I shouldn't even be here. But by the grace of God, here I am.
So I'll take it a different direction a little bit. God has protected me through community. Unfortunately, I had to, in a lot of ways, I had to, God had to deliver me out of some stuff. Everybody's testimony ain't the same, okay? God had to deliver me from bad decisions. He had to deliver me from trauma inflicted on me of my own hands and of others, some that I had no choice but to kind of endure. But through community, I can look back over my life and I can see people from the church just consistently through phases of my life just wrap me in their arms and truly love on me and love me and walk with me through different seasons of my life. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a way that God can protect you. He can protect you from self-destructing in community, right? Not every time things magically disappear or things magically become better. But through community, he can, them wrapping their arms around you and truly, truly loving you in your ugly moments, loving you through the tears, loving you. And when I say loving you, I'm not talking about this mushy gushy, I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear kind of love. I'm talking about that love that say, now look here, we need to have a come to Jesus moment on this couch and sit down, because this is gonna be some tough conversations that we need to have. That's what I'm talking about, that true sense of community. That is how God has protected me, even through the pandemic. Let me tell you something. In the pandemic, I have connected with 5, and I'm just more than 5 people, of course, but I'm going to shout out these 5 women, these 4 women, I'm sorry, it's 5 of us, but 4 women in the Bodega Ladies, women that I didn't know prior to BK saying, hey, y'all, let's go do this Bodega Ladies night, but women who have literally barged their way sometimes into my life to be the community that I need. And they have, let me tell y'all, they have linked their arms together and wrapped their arms around me through so many moments, good, bad, and indifferent. So yeah, that is how the Lord has protected me through his ordained community, and that is the church. So yeah.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna say it a different way. He saved me from prison.
Did you say prison?
Yes, yes, sir. Because let me tell you something. I know you don't believe in Jesus, and you think I don't say this, but I'm telling you I do. He saved you from me. Because I'm gonna bust that here to the white me. Do you hear me? I'm trying to tell you, but let me tell you, because he resides in me. He like, just have a sit down. Have a sit down, my daughter. So I'm trying to tell you, Jesus saved me from prison and me and you from me. So you're welcome. So y'all think I'm kidding, but it's been some days I'll be like, fam, I'm trying to tell you, he saved you and he saved me. You should thank the Lord. That's really one way. Another way is really the unregenerated part of me is really not a nice person. It's not a nice lady at all. I know some of y'all are like, no, I can't see it, Dana, you're so nice. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. So just from God has saved me from being that person and what that would cost me as a result of being that individual. Because I agree with Delicate Flower, community is a rich commodity in my life. So
that reminds me of there's a gospel record that said, you should thank God that I'm saved. I think something like that.
That's all I'm saying. Y'all think I'm saying, but I really mean it, because I'm telling you, I'm gonna bust your head to the white meat. I'm talking about
wow.
I had a friend's mama that used to say, y'all better thank God for Jesus, because he just saved your life.
Amen on that one.
Dana, like, I used to give out Colombian neckties for Christmas.
Crazy. All right, so let's do this. All right, here we go. Italian artist Salvatore Garou has just sold an invisible sculpture for $18,000, made from air and spirit. Italian artist Salvatore Garou has just sold an invisible sculpture for $18,000. The Lo Sono, I Am sculpture, as the artist explains, exists, just not in material form. And it's actually more like a vacuum. The 67-year-old went on to elaborate that the vacuum is nothing more than a space full of energy. And even if we empty it and there's nothing left, according to the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, that nothing has a weight. Therefore, it has energy that is condensed and transformed into particles, that is, into us, much like how we shape a God we've never seen. The sculpture is intended to be displayed in a 5x5 foot square and must be displayed in a private space free from obstructions where lighting and climate control are not required, reiterating that even if you can't see it, it does exist. Guru included a certificate of authentication to the purchaser. So you guys want to not see the sculpture? You get the idea? So what you think, guys?
How much he sold it for?
$18,000.
About to give me a glitter jacket. That's it. On tour. That's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
18 like real dollars? Like
18
people
US
dollars?
dollars.
Like dollars that we spend at the store?
Yes. Greenbacks.
Matthew, make
Pesos.
sure is your wife's in the room with you. Make sure you tell her not to walk behind you.
She just left.
All right.
What in the Emperor's New Clothes is going on here?
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. The Emperor with the new clothes. And everybody was like, oh, you look so nice. And the little boy was like, he got no clothes on. It is empty. There is tape on the ground. That's it.
I know I'm walking in the square. I know y'all was thinking I'm gonna walk through that square. Because I'm walking in the square.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking in the square.
You probably get arrested. They probably be like, they're arresting you for damaging their property or something. I don't know.
For climbing on the sculpture.
My thing is, these are people, right, that don't believe that God exists, doesn't believe Jesus ever existed. But this statue does, though.
You just got to use your imagination. Was that y'all saw the little ticker tape on the bottom? Use your imagination. You have one, even though you don't think you do. It's tape on the ground. It's nothing now. The Emperor has no clothes on. I said it. Send me the 18,000. There you go.
I've got a pet invisible rock for sale. Anybody? Anybody? Any offers?
But see, his name sold that though. Whoever he was, his name sold that. Everybody was like, "Ooh."
Someone actually paid good money. 18 stacks, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But we shouldn't believe in Jesus.
No, of course not. Of course not. Of course not. I mean, we only have, eyewitness testimony, from actual followers and enemies, but no one cares about that kind of stuff,
You see Michelle's. I got a statue for sale.
It's bigger than that piece of trash in itself.
Yeah.
I believe you.
I do. Tiff said it though. This cue the Emperor's new clothes. This is like when fiction becomes reality.
Word, that's $18,000 tape. That's what they brought. They brought $18,000 tape.
Hey, James sold. PayPal me.
Pure tape, boy.
Yeah,
that tape was amazing.
I wonder if somebody would try to stand in the middle of it. I bet you somebody will.
I want to see someone steal it. All you gotta do is just take the tape and then hold the statue hostage for like double the price.
For ransom.
I got your statue. The owner tape in the hand. I got your statue. If you ever want to see the statue again.
Even in The Emperor's New Clothes, the Emperor was willing to continue in the folly because he wanted to be this great emperor. He wanted to be ahead of the curve. You paid $18,000 because you want to be what? The first person?
I want to see if that person could flip that statue and sell it to someone else.
It's not even a real statue. The real statue is in Madripoor.
Under imaginary lock and key?
Under imaginary lock and key.
But the statue is whatever you make it, I guess. That's why it costs so much. I don't know. This is crazy.
Yeah, how do you insure? Yeah, I don't know if you could get insurance on Yeah.
They stole it again.
I don't know. It's just like, I got blue tape. Well, just for that, it should be, worth triple the cost if you got blue tape, bro. I mean,
I'm about to get the statue and put it on my patio. I'm just
right now, all the Word of Faith preachers saw that, and they're like, "Oh man, we gotta try to flip that."
BK, they get flipping that. BK, they've been selling water. They got out the faucet for a lot of years. I'm not doing this with y'all on Friday. You know what? I'm using my.
All I know is when you see me in the glitter jacket,
I done sold the statue.
Weight loss.
I sold the statue. I sold two.
Listen, and gold dust and glitter. Say nothing to me, okay? Say nothing to me. I don't want to hear nothing. When you see me on,
you're gonna see Featherstone and Phil Fox selling the Wind of God in bottles.
Yeah,
in Ziploc bags.
Yeah,
the Wind of God.
I'm doing it. At least I'm trying to give you a product, okay? I'm at least going to give you a product. I'm slapping the label on the water bottle, all of that other kind of stuff. You'll actually touch something, okay?
He named and claimed the statue. I spoke into existence. Oh man! Listen, man, I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. So we're gonna wrap it up. But before we do, there you go. There goes. Well, you got
some Wind of God.
Wind of God, bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's limited. This is limited edition Wind of God.
Oh, it's limited.
Yeah. See, this is $20 right here.
That's the
Wind of God.
That's baby breath of God.
Yeah, right? baby breath of God.
A quick question, wonderful people.
Yes, Andrew.
I know I'm very late to the party. Hello from Philadelphia, by the way.
Yeah. Little death.
Did y'all talk about my comedic friend already?
Your committed friend?
We're not talking about your comedic friend until Monday.
Oh no. Well, I'm glad you said that because we'll get to that in a second when we talk about what's coming down in the immediate future for our most illustrious panelists. And we'll start with you, MJ. What are you going to do in the immediate future, sir?
Hotel.
Grand Rising, MJ. MJ just got famous the last couple of days, boy.
Look, in all honesty, I thought we was done with Kemet. Kemet was dead in the waters, but bad ideas don't die easily. So they're like zombies.
Yeah.
So what you got to do? You got to whip out the equipment and go ahead and put them back down. But yeah, so I'm gonna be hanging out with the fellas on Monday.
Yep.
I might be hanging out with some of the fellas live. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how everything work out. But we're gonna be addressing Mr. Ozaze. I like that name, Mr. The historian, the real historian.
Absolutely, Jabaro Ozaze is a cool name.
We're gonna be addressing a real historian, and we're gonna be addressing some of the many logical errors that he made. We're going to be addressing some of his tactics. He's a drama king. Oh my God, such a drama king. That's part of the song and dance. And if you can get past all of that, the emperor has no clothes. The emperor has no clothes. I'm gonna be hanging out with Alfredo. Adam Coleman is coming. Apologist in Detroit is gonna be kicking it. And like I said, I appreciate the free publicity because this dude was mad for 2 years. This dude said he was upset, he was frustrated, he should have went and got some counseling.
But we had Cal Spears. He could have called Kyle.
But look, it's like when Eddie Murphy told his brother we should get Rick James some help, and Charlie Murphy said we just gave him some. Well, we're gonna give his brother some help on Monday. We're gonna give his brother some help on Monday, and other than that, me, Brandon Cleaver, and Bradley Mason, we are working out the logistics of an interview with Mr. Bradley Mason, James White favorite blogger, regarding critical race theory, and we're going to dispel some of the myths because for whatever reason everybody decided they wanted to talk about critical race theory and that they're expert on it, and it's just y'all are some of the smartest and the brightest people. And if you come in this community and you don't feel like you are, trust me, stick around for a while. Your iron sharpens iron. This community should be the sharpest community, and we should embrace truth where we find it. We don't have to, we don't have to follow the crowd or nothing like that. But no, we're going to deal with truth. We're going to follow the information where it leads. And then after that, well, kind of sort of before that, me, apologist in Detroit, Mr. Phil Fox, we have some unfinished business with Mr. Samuel Say. Don't think that we forgot about you, Mr. Say.
Oh, man.
No, Jabari has intrigued me, but we have not forgot about you. We have not forgot about you, and we're going to look at your interview that you did with Mr. Sean McDowell because that's where the action is at. But that's what I'm doing.
Oh, great trouble of Israel. Apologies to Detroit. What shenanigans can we look forward to?
Last time I hung out with Phil and Matthew Jackson, I got into spat afterwards on the phone with a troll from the comments. So y'all know how that worked. Matthew just pointed out we're gonna graciously respond to the video that
really now
Samuel Say and
nice
and Sean McDowell did. Some good stuff to kind of draw back from. Me and Matthew were talking earlier about what's the feller's name, the atheist feller's name that was the anti reparations dude, Matthew?
Coleman Hughes.
Coleman Hughes, yeah. We're gonna do a response video for Coleman Hughes. Me and Matthew are like behind because like by now we should already be producing stuff and we not. So we just got to get off our duffs and get some stuff done because we got plans to do a lot of response videos within the realm of biblical social justice, King Jesus gospel, things like that. So of course my blog, working on finishing that blog that I'm a month behind on, and I think that's all I can think of right now.
All right, Delicate Flower, can you balance the heavy testosterone that we just heard with some nice, cheery, uplifting, empowering stuff? Delicate Flower.
Child, Delicate Flower ain't got nothing going on but to be in these live chats watching. Trying to be a purveyor of peace and tranquility because I'm a delicate flower. I would like to say I don't have nothing going on but being in these live chats all over Facebook, in the YouTubes and whatever. But I would like to let you know that coming soon to a Bodega Ladies page near you, we will be selling the Wind of God right here. Package real nice. We only asking $9.99 for each packet plus shipping and handling. Okay. We are limiting packets to 10 per person. Just check out the Bodega Ladies page. And then while you're there on the Bodega Ladies page, don't forget to go ahead and pre-order Pastor Jerome Gates' book, The Whitewashing of Christianity. He wrote chapter 2 in the Urban Apologetics book, and if chapter 2 knocked your socks off, then you need to go just go ahead and get the whole book because that was just a precursor. So yeah, go pre-order that book, and don't forget Bodega Ladies page, Instagram and Facebook. And we about to do a little commercial on YouTube. We about to be selling y'all little packets of the window guy, honey. This gets rid of COVID, the flu, all aches and pains as well.
Your student debt, all that.
all of that. Supernatural weight loss, supernatural hair growth, all of that is right here in this little package, okay?
Nice. I like what Dean Hughes said. Bodega Ladies bottle makes water taste anointed and appointed. Ooh.
Stay tuned for our shop because we about to sell it all. Okay?
Oh, man. Dinner Dane with Fame. What can we be expecting from you?
I'm gonna be honest. It's not gonna be a lot virtually. In the summertime is the time for me to catch up on my real life and the people that I do real life with. So you'll find me out doing life with people and that have not quite had as much as my time during what I call the school year. So, but I'll be around. You can always reach me and find me out here. Facebook, Instagram, but don't not Instagram. Get me through Facebook. But you probably won't see me a lot virtually. But if you need to talk to me, you can find me. Hit me up at the Bodega Ladies email.
Nice.
Splitting to the white spirit.
The white spirit.
Splitting demons' wigs to the white spirit.
Oh, that's what she does. Absolutely. Dean New.
Clarify, Chris. They clip that, honey.
For real.
So a couple things, 3 things, 4 things. Michelle's giving me number 4. I do want to plug the Bodega Ladies water bottle. We also have to put that on our social media. As BK posted, it does make water taste anointed and appointed, and you might live forever.
Just might.
I just want to throw that out there. I'm going to throw it out there. Someone catch it. Bodega Ladies, we might have some things going on this month. We're still talking. So I'll just leave it there. As well, BK, we have a show that we've been talking about as well. So we have to set a date for that so everyone can stay tuned whenever that's announced. And I'm gonna just be out here in these YouTube streets doing what I do, and that's it. That's all.
Yo, people really want this water bottle, fam. You might have to start. You know what I mean?
You might have to use that as a fundraiser for me.
We live in Arizona. We need water bottles. Hey, maybe you guys, maybe we need to work something out, guys. You never know.
It'll make you live forever.
Oh, you see? Now you went from might to now it does.
I'm just saying. And
with every 50 purchases, you get a free invisible statue at no extra cost. So,
and a free packet of the Wind of God.
Woo! That's it. That is it right there. Mr. Phil Fox, what can we be expecting from you, sir?
I just got to say, hanging out with MJ Jackson.
Oh, Lord.
Has brought a lot of violent tendencies that I haven't had in a long time. I've actually regressed a little bit. No, I actually I'm sort of taking a break from my platform. Doing the weekly thing just to get focused. I've been off and on the bodegas and stuff. I've been dealing with a back issue, so it's tough for me to sit for too long, and all the prep makes me have to sit in this spot along with my work and stuff. So, so I'm taking a little bit of break. I'm praying I'll be back to regular shows probably the end of July. My family and I are trying to take there's the water bottle.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, there
is a Bodega Ladies bottle. Woo! Ka-ching.
Oh,
there is.
Y'all thought it was a game.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
That's
Put the link in the chat. That's
kind of a weird flex.
Y'all thought it was a game, didn't you? You thought it was a game.
Not a
You
game.
thought it was a game.
It's
This is
not
the
a
Bodega
game.
Lady page. Email us, Bodega Ladies,
I know you said-
@gmail.com. And
You know, people are going to actually ask for the bottles. I hope you know that. That's actually going to happen.
Yeah.
Straight from the River Jordan. Yes, CMB.
We can only tell the truth. We are obligated to tell the truth. So
I feel you. Cool. So with me, in the very immediate future, and MJ alluded to it, you know, we're going to have a debate review on a conversation that was had earlier this week with Vocab, Adam Coleman, Sonetta, and Jabari. And I actually have a screenshot that basically summarizes what actually occurred that evening. As you can see here,
Is it the Doc Loki?
it's Adam Coleman, right, giving the logical conclusion of the worldview of Jabari, and Jabari not too happy about the consequence of his worldview.
You could have also had that baby meme on there too. You know that baby that make that face like this.
Now, in
That
the
baby that
Bodega
look like an
group,
old lady.
the Doc Loki one in the Bodega group is hilarious.
So this Monday, people, at 9, we will be reviewing this debate. We're gonna have Adam, MJ, Chris. We're gonna have Kyle Spears. He watched it and he saw a lot of, trauma actually being used to someone's benefit. I won't say who, but he has a lot of hot takes, so that was pretty interesting. He's gonna have a nice insight. Also, I will be interviewing Pastor Jerome Gay Jr. with his book, The Whitewashing of Christianity, so you can look forward to that in the immediate future. I will also be interviewing Dr. Vince Bantu, and we'll be discussing his chapter in the book, Urban Apologetics, Restoring Black Dignity with the Gospel. And also, I will be having Zion McGregor to talk about his chapter in the book, Why the Black Church Must Be Relevant. And then in August, I'm going to have some friends come over, and we're going to talk about disciples working to abolish the new Jim Crow. So we got some things stored up. So with that being said, any last words before we out here, people? No?
Love God, love people.
God love people. Actually, you know what? I almost forgot. Hold up. Of course, coming up, June 18th, Friday, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., we have the debate of the summer. Pastor Damon Richardson versus Dr. Richard Carrier. The topic, did Jesus exist? You definitely got to be there. We got to support our brother Damon as he gives this dude the work, right? And you know what I mean? I'm putting in, you know what? That doesn't look correct.
Where's the watch party going to be at?
Wait, hold on for a minute. All right, that looks better. All right. And here's the link to the pay-per-view. All right. So feel free to get the pay-per-view. I know some of us feel weird. Like, are we giving money to the conscious community? Fear not. Pastor Damon will be compensated for services rendered. So you'll actually be helping out our dear brother be compensated if you get registered with the link. Okay? So with that being said, any last things?
Uncle Kenny approved.
That reminded me that same weekend that me and Colin are going to be in Featherstone. Are going to be here in Detroit doing presentations that weekend, Friday and Saturday. I think Damon's starts around the same time, but his will be going a little longer than ours. So we'll be jumping
putting
on
in that work. That's good. That's good,
right,
man.
That's right.
Yep, and I'll be there too.
Nice. So with that being said, MJ Jackson, Apologies to Detroit, Delicate Flower, Did a Dane with Fame, Dean U, Real American Mr. Full Fox, and BK signing off. Peace.